The sustained economic growth across the globe is leading to the steadily expanding the demand for energy and associate generation of capacity to maintain the economic momentum. With falling technological cost and the rising fossil fuel prices, the renewable power technology are increasingly competitive. Even the key energy exporters are considering the renewable energy option to reduce the domestic fossil fuel consumptions and preserve the oil and gas reserve for the export purpose. And the deployment of this renewable energy in a regional context can enhance the access to the reliable and affordable electricity supply through the expanded grid architecture and the infrastructure in this nature. The improved security of those supply through the resource diversification reduce the carbon emissions and foster a new investment and employment opportunities. The Clean Energy Corridor aims to support the integration of the cost-effective renewable power options in a national system, promote its cross-border trade, and to support the creation of regional markets for the renewable power. The implementations build upon the synergies with regional initiatives and rest upon the core pillars on the resource assessment, the national and those regional planning, and enabling those frameworks, those design pattern, those investment strategy, as well as the associated activities for the capacity building, public awareness, and political support. The hydrogen can be produced from a diverse domestic resources, and currently the hydrogen is produced from a fossil fuels parallel. It's the nature of clean energy. We can discuss that the concept of being implemented through this action plan, and that is customized in many regions. The aim to support the implementation of those framework that can attract timely and sufficient financial resources, identify and develop the cost-effective renewable power option to encourage the reliable integration of higher share of this renewable into the electricity system. The hydrogen from a renewable power is focused on accessing the energy transition that enable the energy carrier as an hydrogen and produced from a wide variety of resources. The various pathway can be produced through hydrogen as a renewable sources, and the most established being the use of renewable electricity that split into hydrogen and oxygen as an electrolyzer. The important overview of those electrolyzer technologies and highlight the technical potential to change the large amount of renewable electricity to those sectors for which the decarbonization is somehow in other ways makes it very tough to implement, such as industry, building, construction, and the transport industry, as well as some other application for a remote location. Hydrogen from a renewable power can directly displace those hydrogen produced from the fossil fuels. The fossil fuels can be reformed to release the hydrogen from their hydrocarbon molecules and are the sources of the most of the hydrogen currently made in US alone. Combining these processes with the carbon capture, utilization, and the storage that will reduce the carbon dioxide emission in the atmosphere. The natural gas reforming is an advanced and mature hydrogen production process that built upon the existing natural gas infrastructure. Today, 95% of the hydrogen produced in the US is made by the natural gas reforming in large and the central part. It is an important pathway for a near-term hydrogen production. The sunlight can directly or indirectly provide the energy to produce the hydrogen. The resource is abundant. It's endless resources, we can say, as a solar energy, but it is diffuse and only available for a portion of the day. And other way of creating those abundant renewable resources, that the biomass that can be produced domestically, it can be converted to hydrogen and other high byproducts through the number of methods. Because growing the biomass removes the carbon dioxide from the atmosphere, the net carbon emission of these methods can be low. The wind is also an abundant but variable resource for generating the electricity. It is obviously an abundant in nature. We can say that the biomass, solar energy and the wind energy, all these are very abundant in nature. You can use endless way, but it's a variable resources, and wind generated electricity can power the water electrolysis to produce those hydrogen, and which could be used for a fuel those vehicles or stored and then used in fuel cells to generate those electricity during the times of the day. And when the wind, the electricity can be used to split the water into hydrogen and the oxygen. This technology is well developed and available commercially, and the system can be efficiently use those renewable power, wind, geothermal and the solar. All are being developed, and the electrolysis is being used for to produce the hydrogen from a renewable and grid electricity mechanism. The energy transition is also a pathway towards the transformation of the global energy sector from a fossil fuel base to zero carbon by the second half of this century. At this heart is the need to reduce the energy-related carbon dioxide emission, to limit the climate change, to control the adverse effect of the climate change, to mitigate the environmental damage, the harmful effect of the climate change issues due to the excessive use of carbon dioxide, excessive emission of the carbon dioxide in the environment. The decarbonization of the energy sector that requires the urgent actions on the global scale, and while a global energy transition is underway and further action is needed to reduce the carbon emissions and mitigate the effect of the climate change. Renewable energy and the energy efficiency measured can potentially achieve 90% of the required carbon reductions. The energy transition will be enabled by information technology, smart technology, policy framework and the market instrument. The acceleration and the support for the equipment in the energy transition by providing the necessary knowledge, tools and the support to member countries that they increase the share of those renewable energy in the power sector. The power sector transformation for the knowledge, for the product and the methodologies and the application of knowledge and modeling tools to support those members countries and the energy ecosystem and those systems. This is how the clean energy will be used for a betterment of the industrial purpose, the environmental purpose and also the cost effective way. That's all for now. Thanks for watching. See you in the next video.